In December 1998, the Edwardson family went to Fremont National Forest in Oregon to cut Christmas trees. Among them was 8-year-old Derek, nicknamed Bear Boy for his love of the wild. Excited, he ran ahead of his father and grandfather through the snow, until he spotted a line of footprints. He thought they were his dad's. So he followed them, but the prints were too big, far too big. Moments later, Derek was gone. When his family realized he wasn't with either of them, panic set in. They searched and shouted his name, but only the forest answered. A massive search began. Days later, they found a small shelter made from thick branches too strong for a child to break. The dogs brought to track him didn't follow his scent, they just howled. Years passed. Then in 2018, a wooden amulet with Derek's initials was found buried in the same forest, and nearby, tiny human bones carefully placed, as if in a ritual. Was Derek lost to the cold, or taken by something else? Some say Bigfoot watched him that day, and never let him go. 29. The Cave of Three Figures. The clip first appeared online on July 14, 2024. No story, no source, just a short, eerie video. But the camera was close. What it captured shocked everyone who saw it. An explorer had wandered deep into the forest. He found a hidden cave, silent, cold, and strangely alive. Inside were three figures. They didn't move toward him. They didn't even react to the camera. It was like they couldn't see him at all. Their bodies were long and thin, their skin dark and smooth. Their heads looked too big for their fragile frames. They moved slowly, tapping the rocky floor with long sticks, trying to find their way through the cave. The man kept filming, heart racing, but the creatures kept walking lost in their rhythm, unaware of his presence. Were they blind, or something else entirely? No one knows, but this video still sends chills to anyone who watches it. 28. The Vanishing Figure. It was late at night. The ground wet, the air thick with fog. A shaky camera caught something moving fast, a dark figure racing across the muddy field. At first, it looked like a person, maybe someone running home through the rain, but a few seconds later, something strange happened. The figure began to fade, piece by piece, like it was melting into the night, until there was nothing left at all. People who saw the clip were divided. Some said it was just a glitch, a trick of the lens, maybe light reflecting off the water. But others believed it was something else, something we can't explain, a shadow from another world. Even when the video ends, the feeling doesn't. You can almost see that shape disappearing into the dark. Was it just a glitch, or something that wasn't meant to be seen? 27. The Watcher in the Woods. A man was gathering firewood near his barn when something caught his eye, a dark shape in the distance. He lifted his phone to zoom in, and what he saw made him go still. By the tree line stood a tall, dark figure. Its arms hung low, longer than they should be. Then it moved, slipping behind a tree. For a moment, silence. Nothing else moved. Then, a smaller shadow appeared beside it. Both stood there watching before fading into the woods. He didn't chase or shout, he just stood frozen. The tall one turned once, almost like it knew he was there, and then it was gone. No one knows what he really saw that evening, but some believe the woods were watching him first. And maybe they still are. 26. The Thing on Mount Hiei Road. A driver in Japan's Mount Hiei region saw something strange that night. He was driving along a quiet mountain road when his headlights caught something moving on all fours. At first, he thought it was an animal, maybe a dog or a wild monkey. But then, it did something that made his blood run cold. The creature slowly stood up on two legs. It turned slightly as if it realized it was being watched. Then, it tried to hide behind the guardrail, almost human in the way it moved. The driver grabbed his phone, snapped one blurry photo, and that was it. He didn't dare get closer. He just kept driving, heart pounding, hands shaking. Later, when he looked at the picture, he couldn't explain what he saw. Was it a person, an animal, or something else entirely? 25. The Thing in the Swamp. Josh was out hunting hogs that evening, sitting still in the swamp, dressed in camo, waiting for dark. It was about 9 miles west of Tunica, Mississippi. Then, a sound behind the tree. He turned slowly and froze. About 50 yards away, something huge crouched near a dead cypress. At first, he thought it was a hog, but then he saw shoulders and a head. Upright. It was digging into the stump using what looked like hands, not paws. Josh felt time slow down, his heart pounding. He lifted his phone and hit record. Then, the creature stood up, tall, broad, at least 7 feet. He panicked and ran, forgetting the gun, forgetting everything. Back home, he replayed the footage, the shape, the size, the movement. That was no bear. Locals talk about the skunk ape in these swamps. Could that be what he saw? No one really knows. But Josh swears it was real. 24. The Figure Behind the Trees. A group of friends in France were hanging out deep in the woods, just recording their day, laughing, playing, and shooting hoops on a small court they'd built between their cars. Everything was normal, until a sharp sound came from the trees. It wasn't an animal call, it was something heavier, something closer. The guy with the camera walked toward the noise. Step by step, the woods got quiet, too quiet. Then, he saw it. A tall, ape-like figure walking on 2 legs, slowly moving through the trees. Everyone froze. The camera shook. He tried to go closer, but his friends pulled him back, whispering for him to stop. The figure disappeared into the dark, leaving only silence behind. They didn't chase it. They didn't even speak for a while. Whatever that thing was, it didn't look human. So what do you think they saw that day? 23. The most convincing Bigfoot footage ever. A group of explorers ventured deep into a remote part of the US forest, miles away from any known path. At first, everything was calm, until that strange chill crept in. The feeling that someone or something was watching them. They decided to start filming, just in case. And then it happened. From the dense tree line, a massive ape-like creature burst out, its hair dark reddish-brown. It charged toward them with heavy strides. The group panicked and ran, but not before one of them caught it on camera. Moments later, the creature disappeared into the woods. But instead of running home, they turned back, believing it wasn't attacking, just warning them off. With shaking hands and pounding hearts, they followed it. And in a quiet clearing, it appeared again. The camera zoomed in. The hair seemed real, flowing naturally over its muscles. Not a suit, not a prank, something else entirely. Was it truly Bigfoot? No one knows for sure. But this might be the clearest footage ever recorded. What do you think? 22. The Yeti in the Snow. It happened deep inside a Russian forest, where the world stood still, and even the snow seemed to hold its breath. A lone man was standing there, surrounded by silence, his breath turning into pale mist in the freezing air. He scanned the endless white, when suddenly, something moved through the snowfall. A massive figure, pushing through the drifts like the storm was clearing a path for it. Tall, shaggy, upright. Its steps were too calm, too steady, to be a bear. The man froze, his heart pounding, fear and wonder mixing inside him. He could barely believe what he was seeing, because right there, in that frozen wilderness, stood something that shouldn't exist. Something people only whispered about. Could it be real? Was it the Yeti walking across the snow right in front of him? 21. The Thing in the Woods. It was supposed to be a quiet day on his property. The man was fixing a fence when he heard its strange noises echoing from the woods. Not quite an animal sound, and not quite human either. Curious, he grabbed his camera and walked toward the trees. The forest felt heavy, quiet, like it was waiting for something. He lifted the camera, slowly panning through the branches, and then he saw it. Something moving in the shadows. A dark figure, tall and oddly shaped. It didn't look like a deer or a person. It was something else. He froze, his heart pounding. But before he could focus again, it vanished behind the trees. The woods went silent, completely still. It wasn't the first time he had felt uneasy there. He often heard strange calls at night, something between a bark and a child's voice. Some say it was Bigfoot, but what if it wasn't? No one really knows. 20. The shadow near Priest Lake. Hiker Todd was hiking near Priest Lake, Idaho. A calm afternoon, camera in hand, just taking photos of the trees. Then, something moved, fast and quiet between the branches. He stopped walking, focused his lens, and started recording. At first, it looked like nothing, just shadows and leaves. But then a shape appeared, tall and massive, maybe 7 or 8 feet high, covered in dark fur. It moved slowly, like it was aware he was watching. The footage shook as he tried to zoom in. The image blurred, the figure still walking between the trees. No clear face, no sound, only the crunch of leaves underfoot. Then suddenly it was gone, vanished into the woods like it had never been there. He replayed the clip over and over, but the quality was too poor to tell what it was. What was it? A hunter? A shadow? Or something we aren't supposed to see? 19. The figure on Panorama Ridge. After a long, tiring hike to Panorama Ridge near Black Tusk Mountain, a group of hikers stopped to rest. The air was thin, the view endless, the snowy peaks stretching as far as their eyes could see. But then something moved across the glacier. Far away, a dark figure was walking down the icy slope, slowly but steadily. At first, they thought it was just another hiker, maybe someone who took a different route. But the more they watched, the stranger it seemed. The figure wasn't following any trail. It didn't stop to rest. It just kept moving, strong and fast, covering impossible ground. Even from that distance, they could tell it was too big, too tall, and the way it moved almost effortless, like it belonged there. The group fell silent. No one dared to speak, because deep down, they all felt it, that chill crawling through their bones. Had they just witnessed something impossible? Could that figure really have been a Sasquatch? 18. The figure on the ridge. Daniel Benoit and his wife were hiking when they spotted fresh footprints in the soft soil. The marks were deep, clear toes, clear heels, and they kept going further down the trail. Someone or something had passed recently. They followed the prints to a small clearing. Daniel lifted his camera toward the hillside. A dark shape stood near the ridge. At first, it looked like a stump, unmoving, ordinary. But then, it shifted. Just slightly. Enough to catch the light. The head moved. The body crouched low, slipping behind the bushes. Every time Daniel tried to focus, the figure hid again. It stayed just out of sight, like it knew it was being watched. The blur on Daniel's camera came from the movement fast, careful, deliberate. The woods grew silent. Even the wind stopped. Uneasy, the couple decided to leave, walking faster than before, never looking back. Whatever was on that ridge, it was watching them too. 17. The dark shape at Salt Fork Park. A man was camping with his son at Salt Fork State Park. It was late, the woods were silent, until they noticed something moving through the trees. A dark shape, tall and heavy, walking slowly between the trunks. The man grabbed his camera. They managed to record a short clip before panic took over. They packed up fast and left the park that night, too scared to ever go back. Later, he uploaded the footage on his channel AJ Tausig, asking viewers what they thought it was. People brightened and stabilized the video, zoomed in frame by frame. It clearly showed something walking on two legs. Not a bear, not a man, something else. But the footage was too grainy, the details just out of reach. Some say it was Bigfoot. Others call it a trick of light. But if you look closely, you might see it too. What do you think it was? 16. The Sherman Pass Shadow. It began with a single image, taken on the 22nd of January 2020, by a webcam at Sherman Pass in Washington State. A tall, dark figure stood near a tree, motionless, almost watching. Some said it was just a shadow, but others saw something more, something alive. Days later, hikers in the same area spotted movement across the rocky slope, a large figure walking slowly, steady steps, too tall and too heavy to be human. They looked for footprints, for trails, but there were none. When the footage surfaced, people went wild. Some called it proof of the Yeti, the mountain legend said to haunt these peaks for years. Others claimed it was just a lighting trick. Still, Sherman Pass has always carried strange stories. Strange sightings. So, what was that shadow near the tree? Just light playing games? Or something that's been watching from these woods all along? 15. The Tofino Forest Encounter. Two brothers were out hiking near their family's campground in the forests of Tofino. It was a quiet evening of July 16, 2006. They were just exploring with a small camera. They expected to see deer, but then something moved between the trees, and that wasn't any deer. A tall, dark figure, nearly 7 feet, hunched forward, almost human, but not quite. It stood still for a moment, watching them. By the time they steadied the camera, it turned and bolted into the woods, heavy steps fading fast. When they went back, they found strange footprints in the mud. Not bear tracks. Not human either. Something in between. The footage later spread online. Millions debated what it showed. Both brothers still claim to be skeptics. But when they talk about that night, their voices change. They know what they saw wasn't normal. Could it be a bear or the Yowie of Tofino? 14. The Russian Bigfoot Chase. In 2016, somewhere deep in Bashkortostan, Russia, a group was driving through a dark countryside road. The sun was low, the camera shaky, and then a shadow moved across the frame. At first, it looked like a blur, but when zoomed in, the figure seemed tall, broad, and oddly shaped. The footage was grainy, typical of low light and old cell phones. But still, you could see it. Something was running after the car. The video analyst, Bigfoot Tony, studied it frame by frame, stabilizing each shot. He noticed the figure's strange movement, arms swinging together, almost like a swimmer doing a butterfly stroke, not how a human runs. Some said it looked angry, maybe hurt, maybe warning them to leave. Others saw something else, a hoax perhaps. But the low-set head, the wide shoulders, the conical shape, all too real to ignore. So, what was it? A Russian Bigfoot? Or just shadows playing tricks? No one knows. 13. The Bigfoot video from Russia. It happened in January 2013. 3 Russian youngsters were out in the woods when they noticed something strange between the trees. At first, they thought it was just shadows, until one of them pointed, "Look at those tracks." They followed the footprints with their phone camera on, each step taking them deeper into the forest. Then suddenly from behind the bushes, a tall figure appeared. It stood still, pale and hairless, just staring at them. For a few seconds that felt like forever. And then it moved. And then, slowly, at first, and then ran back into the trees. The boys froze, too scared to breathe. And then they ran all the way home, terrified and shaking. Later, they showed the video to the adults, watched it again and again, trying to understand what they saw. Some say it was a prank. Others still believe they caught Bigfoot on camera. What do you think? 12. The Alberta Trail Cam Mystery. In 2012, deep in the quiet forests of rural Alberta, Canada, a trapper placed a motion-triggered camera to track wildlife. He expected deer or maybe a bear, but what the camera caught was something else entirely. The image showed a large figure sitting calmly on the forest floor. Broad shoulders, long, muscular arms, and thick reddish-brown hair covering its body. Its head looked cone-shaped, with no neck at all. It seemed relaxed, almost aware it was being watched. Skeptics later said it might be a bear, or someone wearing a ghillie suit. But the proportions didn't match. Bears don't sit upright like that. And if this thing stood up, it would easily be over 7 feet tall. Some cryptozoologists even called it one of the clearest Sasquatch photos ever taken. Peaceful and alert, resting as if it belonged there. So what did the trapper's camera really capture? A glimpse of the unknown? Or just a perfect illusion? 11. The Craven Bigfoot footage. Near Craven, Saskatchewan, a family was out for a weekend ride when they saw something strange on a hill beside the road. A tall, brown figure walking on 2 legs, covered in hair from head to toe. They grabbed their camera and started filming. The creature moved with long, steady strides, its arms swinging low, and its head shaped like a cone. Then, it slipped into the bushes and disappeared. The footage was clear enough to spark debates online. Some said it looked too smooth, like a gorilla gliding over the ground. Others swore it was real, that the forests around Craven were perfect for something to hide. Even locals claimed to have seen something similar before. Was it really a Sasquatch? Or just a trick of light and distance? No one knows for sure. But the Craven footage still gives people chills every single time they watch it. 10. The terrifying sounds from the Canadian woods. It was early morning of December, around 9. The shadow in the bushland. August 19th, 2009. A group of researchers placed a trail camera deep inside a remote bushland in Australia. It was part of a wildlife study, calm surroundings, no signs of danger, just another field day. But when they checked the footage later, something strange appeared. A tall, broad, dark figure moving slowly between the trees. The branches swayed, the light flickered, but the outline was clear enough to notice. It didn't look like any animal they were studying. Too upright, too steady, almost human. For a few seconds, it stayed there, as if watching. Then it disappeared into the trees without a sound. The team couldn't explain it. Was it just a hiker in dark clothes? Or did the camera capture something no one has ever proven? Years have passed, but the mystery remains. That single frame of a dark shape still haunting everyone who's seen it. 8. The clearest Sasquatch footage yet. A new video of Bigfoot recently surfaced online, a massive figure standing in the clearing. The chest is broad. The face is visible. This is almost human, but not quite. For a brief second, it turns, then leaps away into the trees. When slowed down, the details become even clearer. The movement looks natural, powerful, yet smooth. During the leap, the muscles in its back and glutes tighten visibly, and the fur stays flat against the body, not hanging loose like a costume. That's what caught the experts' attention. They said no suit could fit that tightly, or move that fluidly. The second video makes things even stranger. Its stride is too long, the jump too high. Every motion looks beyond normal human limits. Experts compared both clips, and none could match it to any known animal or hoax pattern. This footage is recent. No official source yet. Some believe the uploader is keeping the location secret, maybe to protect the creature, or maybe to hide something bigger. Whatever the reason, the mystery deepens with every frame. Was this really Sasquatch caught on camera? Or just another illusion that fooled us all? What do you think? 7. The Temagami Sasquatch Mystery. This short documentary follows Ben Mateen, a man from Temagami, Ontario, who claims to have come face to face with something strange in the deep forests of northern Ontario. The film focuses on the famous Temagami photographs taken by Jim Giardino, In one of them, a dark, upright figure stands beside a massive uprooted tree root. Many believe it could be the most convincing proof of Sasquatch ever caught on camera. The story doesn't stop there. It explores Temagami's wild terrain, thick forests, quiet lakes, and the haunting silence of the north. It also touches on old indigenous legends that speak of tall, human-like beings guarding the woods. To make things even more real, Helm Studios and Eric Lubati built a replica face modeled after what Ben claimed to have seen between the branches. It appears around 5 minutes into the film, leaving viewers with one big question. Was it truly a glimpse of Bigfoot, or just a shadow shaped by imagination? She was out hiking with her dog, just filming the trail, the wind, the calm of the forest. Everything felt peaceful until something shifted in the distance. Between the bushes, a large brown figure appeared. It wasn't moving at first, just standing there, almost like it was watching her. Then, slowly, it turned around and walked away, disappearing into the thick trees. The clip looked simple at first, just another forest video. But when she rewatched it later, that shape stood out. Tall and solid, too big to be human, too upright to be an animal. She tried zooming in, but the footage was blurry, shaky, impossible to define clearly. Still, that one frame, that moment gave her chills. It didn't feel natural. Not at all. Some say it was a trick of light. Others think it was something else. Something that doesn't want to be found. What do you think it was? 4. The shadow in the woods. A tourist clicked a photo while camping, and what showed up in it left everyone stunned. At first glance, it looks like a dark, bulky shape hidden behind thick trees. The figure seems huge, maybe even covered in dark hair. Just like the classic Bigfoot stories. The lighting isn't great. The angle makes it worse. You can't see its face or details clearly. But the outline, it stands upright, almost human-like, yet far too massive to be a person. Some say it's just a bear, maybe caught mid-move. Others believe it's something else, something we've only heard about in legends. Still, like most Bigfoot photos, it's distant, blurry, and hidden in shadow. Enough to make you wonder, but never enough to prove anything. Was it a trick of light? Or did someone actually capture the creature people have searched for decades? What do you think? 3. The figure in the forest. A viewer who calls himself a Bigfoot researcher shared a strange clip from one of his field trips. The footage shows a dark figure moving between the trees. It's quick, almost like it's trying not to be seen. At first glance, it doesn't look that big. Not like the giant creature people talk about. Some even said it could be a young one. A juvenile Bigfoot, maybe. But others weren't so sure. The outline looked too human. The movement too natural. Almost like someone dressed in black, sneaking through the woods. The clip ends just as the figure disappears behind a tree. No sound, no trace. Just silence after it's gone. Was it really something unknown? Or just someone playing a trick deep in the forest? No one's been able to prove it. Not yet. 2. The face beneath the leaves. Deep in the woods, a camera caught something strange. A pile of dry leaves, scattered around a hollow patch of ground. At first, it looked normal. Nothing unusual. But when they played the footage back, something moved in the shadows. Some viewers said they saw a face hiding beneath the leaves. Eyes, a mouth, maybe even a nose, just for a moment. Others disagreed, said it was only a trick of the light. Maybe it was pareidolia when your brain turns random shapes into something familiar, like seeing faces in clouds, or ghosts in smoke. But this time, it felt different, because once you notice the face, you can't unsee it. Was there really something under those leaves? Or was it just our minds playing games? No one can say for sure, but the woods haven't felt the same since. 1. The Hutch Huffman footage. In 2001, a man named Hutch Huffman shared a strange video online. He said it showed a huge, fur-covered creature walking through the woods near his home. The footage was grainy, hard to see clearly. But the movement, that's what caught everyone's attention. You could see muscles shift under the fur. Each step looked heavy. Real. Not like someone in a costume. Experts jumped in. Some called it fake. Others said it was too natural to be staged. For years, they tried to prove it wrong, frame by frame. But no one could ever explain how it was made. Even today, the clip keeps showing up in online debates. Was it a man in a suit, or something real walking deep inside those woods? No one really knows. What do you think? Comment below. And for more creepy footage, you should watch this video right after this one.